One of the things on the internet that I've always enjoyed being able to make fun of is the massive abundance of deep content. Now, I'm no historian, but I can only assume that one of the first things written by mankind probably had something to do with society. And so today I will be criticizing/reviewing some of my favorite deep posts that were posted on Instagram and Reddit within the last year. And for this first one, we are already starting this off strong. There is a man trying to sell lifesavers to a drowning person, and there's a caption that reads, "Today's Society." The only thing I'm thinking when I look at this picture is, how is this guy making any money? Do the drowning people, pull out their wallets and hand him some cash so they can, be rescued? But if they could do that, couldn't they just, get out of the water? It doesn't make sense. And next up, we have a deep picture, which doesn't really make any sense in my opinion. If I'm missing the deeper meaning, feel free to comment below on what the true meaning of this deep picture is. However, all I see is an older fellow pouring some what appears to be milk into a young boy's head. I'm not sure that would be very healthy. I don't really recommend it. This next one kind of makes sense, but it's still pretty goofy in my opinion. This depicts a man holding a trophy at the top of a hill, and it appears that he has walked over a large number of sharp objects with no shoes on. It also depicts a crowd of people pointing to him and claiming that his accomplishment was easy. And I would have to agree with the crowd on this one, as it appears that the cliff is only slightly taller than the people. They can almost reach to the top. So you probably don't have to walk over all the cacti. And you could also just wear shoes. So yeah, this one's kind of silly. And there's also a quote from Maya Angelou, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the actual meaning of this picture, so it just doesn't make much sense that it's there. Here's another deep picture that doesn't really make very much sense to me. This one depicts a guy with a mohawk, and then it also depicts a man who is balding, and he appears sad as the guy has hair where he doesn't. Now, this one's just kind of sad, like the guy doesn't have hair, and he wishes he did. Moral of the story, being bald is bad. This next picture I can kind of relate to because it's definitely happened to me in the past. For example, before I got into doing social media stuff, I would definitely break up a fight between two children, but now I would just film it, and in fact I would actually round up children and encourage them to fight each other so I could get my upvotes on Reddit. And now here's another picture that just doesn't make very much sense. There's a guy with an axe trying to break down a brick wall, even though there's an open road that goes to the same place and it's only slightly longer. And the wall is also short enough that you could easily climb over it. If you were strong enough to break down the wall with an axe, you could probably just climb over the wall. He's also trying to encourage people to help him break down the wall, perhaps. At least that's what I think is happening. But none of them have, axes or any kind of tools, so I think it just makes more sense for them to walk up to the other place. Also, if you wanted to go on the shorter road, you probably could, because there's nothing separating the roads. Unless this picture is depicting, an endless black void between the roads, but if that's the case, then where are they going? It doesn't make sense. Why would they want to go off into space on a road? Now, this one's actually pretty profound if you think about it. It depicts modern devices laying a book to rest in a cemetery, and it says a lot about our society if you think about it, because kids these days, they only use their phones and their video game controllers and headphones. They don't pick up book anymore. They picked up book and they thought it was a touchscreen. Children these days not knowing how books work. Books these days and their inability to be read by children. And here we can see we have another pretty silly one in my opinion. It shows that over the years, cell phones are getting really big, and then eventually in the year 2030, the phone is just so big it crushes the man. He dies. It's a real tragedy, actually. However, this meme, luckily, if you were at home and you were worried, you don't have to worry anymore, because this meme is inaccurate, as it is currently the year 2021, and yet our cell phones are still, for the most part, smaller than our heads. And so, unless something changes, this meme hopefully will not come true. This one is a pretty silly one as well. It's got a lot of parts to it, and I'm not going to read them all, but I just thought mainly the really funny part of this is that the concept of Instagram before social media is just one picture that you can look at, and Twitter is just 3 sticky notes. I don't really get that because you probably wrote those or took the picture, so it's not really Instagram or Twitter. Also, Reddit is just a comic, one singular comic, but that actually does kind of sum up Reddit pretty well. Who are you? Answer without. Semicolon. Name. Jobs. Things what you did. Friends. And this next deep post is actually a pretty good warning, disguised as just an internet deep post. It shows 2 women holding hands on a couch. Not sure what they're doing, but that's not important. What's important is that when light is cast upon them, one of the women is revealed to just be a regular human, however the other one is revealed to actually be a snake. Moral of the story, shine light on people so you know whether or not they're a snake. Okay, so this one actually kind of makes me angry. It was definitely made by someone who says kids these days on a regular basis. They basically took Maslow's hierarchy of needs and then they replaced the bottom tier with Wi-Fi. They're basically saying that before anything else, people these days, they need their Wi-Fi before they can get basic survival needs met. And I think that's just ridiculous. Stop posting stuff like this. Just stop. No one likes this stuff. Just stop. This one really gave me a good chuckle, as it's just pretty funny. So basically, 2,000 years ago, there were a bunch of shirtless, ripped men rowing inside of what appears to just be a building. It doesn't really look like a boat because it has like stone columns in it. But then 2,000 years later, in present day, they graduated from school. Yeah, this one's pretty silly. I don't know what they're really trying to say, but it is pretty deep if you ask me. And this last one is just pretty silly, just like all of the other ones that we've seen today. If you can read this, and then there's this long string of letters that don't spell anything, you're broken. So yeah, obviously I'm not broken because I can't read this. Guys, I think I'm broken. I'm gonna need a minute. Anyways, that was some of my favorite deep content. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if this video does well, maybe I'll make another video like this one again. Until then though, I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.